Good evening, everyone. Anyway, part of NBFC time, anyway, month end. So this all we are used to this pressure. So we'll try, at least you are given 40 minutes. We'll try to complete in 30 minutes. If my partners support me to complete before 20 minutes. Okay, we'll try to take it up. But surely, it's again in the interest of all. Let us try to keep time as one of the main thing. Just that instead of future technology, first let us see what currently we are using from as product from our side and what best we expect from partners. That's what we are looking. Again, as discussed, you can even go to the specifics to say like where we are struggling a lot from the business point of view and customers to create and how NBFC can do some wow factor. If at all, yes, then what all those technologies we can do for current and for future. So we'll start with your side first to do that. Because since he's a newcomer and he said he's more doing with startup and joined a finance company to deliver something from IT. So let us understand from him like what type of technologies we can see as future. So we'll come back to you for current what best we have done.
Perfect. Yeah, myself Santosh. I'm representing Sarvodaya Nano Finance. So as of today, like as the technology grows, there are like most of the things which covers for the microfinance. Technology is not the solution provider as I understood. It's an enabler for doing the business. And when I was looking into the financial institution, what it can be developed, there was a huge gap between the technology which could have been taken place and doing foremost things which can be done from the technology side. So when it comes to a technology, like it's not just about doing the business on the whole, it also should support what the business needs to be.
Can we replace drones with the field executives? Any thought process on that so that drones can go and do at least not collection, send us saying like this customer is ready to pay for us, which already you have done, you said. So any light on that so that we'll start with that to say drones can support the field executive, not in rural India, at least in urbans.
Yeah. So recently, recently we were having a discussion actually, what to do, how to do the collection automated. You cannot go to a bank account of a customer to do the collection mostly. And second thing is you cannot, there was like so many don'ts which they gave me. You cannot use a Paytm, you cannot do a UPI. People will find it very difficult to go to a bank to put the money and all those things. So what we tried from our end is we made we know the center, we know where the meeting is going to happen. We got a permission from few cops and all those things. Like we made the drone to fly from one zone to other zone, put the money inside a box, take a photo of it, come back. So this was exactly what we did. And what happened is, the education part of the people need to be there, and people were playing with the drone, try to throw stones at the drones, and all those things were happening. But when it comes to a digitalization, there was the next level of things which we are trying to support, which we are trying to find out what is the best option which can support the customer at the base level.
Great. While going, at least it went empty, and that's why they didn't throw stones. While
exactly.
It was coming with money. Anything with money, generally people throw stones at it. That's a problem. So we have to try to take it up as much. It's not digital. It's a behavioral part of the people where they see money with anything else, they get angry and they throw stones on that. I'll come back to you on that. Sir, from your side, like how we can utilize technology, since you mentioned a lot more we can do part of getting into the share and care model. So your company and your light on that to say how we can make a share and care model so that it enables us to work something more from NBFCs.
Hi, my name is Nizam. We're one of the enterprise SaaS solution for NBFCs and BFSIs. What we do is we have a mobile-focused product. We call it an intelligent personal assistant for your field officers who are already on the field. If you have an existing CRM solution or a lead management solution, we have a very small SDK which can be plugged into it, which basically analyzes the effort of individual sales guys or field guys, like the effort taken by the field force to go meet the customer, call the customer, response to a missed call from a customer. So we have around 300 plus KPIs to analyze what is the effort taken by the individual field force, and we have an AI engine and machine learning that we built, which will give him back a peer-to-peer learned recommendation saying that, hey, these are the best actions to do. That is a quick introduction about what we are doing, and I think Just to answer, I think one of the things that we were doing all these years was collecting a lot of data about the customer, about the transactions, about the patterns of transactions and all that, and we were not using it or consuming it for the sake of sales side or for the sake of forecasting or any other things. So I think if we could probably focus on some machine learning stuffs or AIs or softwares which could probably help us to consume this existing data to probably make our sales guys to be more productive on the field. That is one thing that I was looking at. Another thing which Sai was telling us, like, for example, if we can create an ecosystem where we can partner with each other. For example, now another problem is payment collection. We need to have our resources on the field, paying them under our payroll. Rather, can we create an API which can be exposed and connected with the Swiggy's API? And when they go for a delivery, can they collect the payment? So any sort of engagements can be exposed to see how we can reduce our pain, reduce our cost, and make a better payment collection sort of thing. I think that could be another, suggestion.
For you to take it up further, saying, since you mentioned more on e-business, doing it out, but in India, unfortunately, e-business is less of electronics, more of emotions. How emotions can be gathered when you operate in rural India, and emotions should be multilingual again, and it should subject to that purpose. Like, can we have something called earn to pay, so that we can make him to earn, so that he can pay for us. So any thoughts on that, where technology can do as an, what you were saying, like a support device, so that the business can empower and the customer can also be engaged with us for a long period?
I think one of the factors that is really missing in our current ecosystem is like educating our customers or trying to be more personalized to be just like what a customer expecting to be. For example, we were discussing about a local language. Try to communicate in a local language of Marathi or a Tamil so that they feel like it's personalized to their conversation and get the support. So if you can bring it more personalized and localized, I think that will be a better support case.
Yeah, great. But anyway, while discussing, we were three more people were there, but since further more discussion, we lost 3 wickets, so like 3 people lost it. So more discussion is also dangerous. Let us get into concepts where how it will try to create it. Sir, from your side, you are more enlightening on business, since operating on the rural borrowing itself is a big cost for us. How you leverage technology so that it takes current, and again we can have a better technology for future.
Sure, yep. So I'm Durgaprasad. I'm from Cholamandalam Investments, a traditional NBFC with almost 15,000 field staff from sales and collections. So one of the demands from our business is how do we be more innovative? So I think what he mentioned from a drone perspective or from a sales efficiency perspective definitely resonates with what our business is. So
you should look for 15,000 drones so that to support a backup your employees.
As long as the capex meets the CFO's needs, right?
Yeah.
So that criteria is still there.
Yeah, that's anyway future. You can project it, but let us see like how drones can substitute really the people. That's what the real technology issues we are concerning. So in your case, how Cholamandalam has taken that?
So one of the, like you just mentioned, the earn to pay, we are big in vehicle finance. So we fund a lot of commercial vehicles across the country. So we had invested in a company that helps in load aggregation. So since many of these guys buy, commercial vehicles, whether it's heavy or light, and then the way they earn money is shifting load from one part of the country to another. So invested in an organization that can help bring the load operators and the load providers together so that the asset that we fund is actually put to use. And that way we are able to make sure the asset is actually, making money for the borrower and ultimately comes back to us from a collection efficiency perspective.
It's not directly relevant to you, but still, we heard two-wheelers still, the manufacturing is getting stopped even from Mahindra, as I'm representing, where two-wheelers are not going. That production is already more and the sale is less, where now the pressure is on finance. Like now how such things in future where technology can protect and prevent, so that like at least manufacturer level let them know, rather than creating that production available and it's not saleable and the pressure is on finance now.
See, I think there are still markets. If you see the metro markets is where the two-wheelers and the basic passenger vehicle consumption or offloads are reduced. But our presence is significantly, we have a theme called phygital. So we say we are physical on one front and digital on the other. And a lot of our presence is actually in tier 4 and 5 kind of locations where we still see quite a bit of uptake on the two-wheeler
So you
side.
say the blame is not on the customer, it's more on phygital and digital. So still we have enough excuses to come out so that it helps us to do it. So anyway, thanks for the information. So we have enough technology now to blame also, like it is not available so that we are not able to sell the things on time. So from your side, like how we see case studies, like a product, when you want to put it, how customers seeing from the other side, and you are seeing, and you are making even positives, like how customer can use it effectively. Some 1 or 2, 3 things on the positive side, like Limelight, how customer is getting benefited of those products.
Sure, Suresh. So there are a couple of learnings here. One is that, I mean, how customers are seeing technology is a lot because of the changing customer behavior. So we are seeing that customers' behaviors are changing. The ecosystem of finance, fintech is changing, and because of which the customers are seeing technology differently. So, for example, the customers are being more digital. The regulator is sort of, opening up, and of course, I mean, not just in India and other countries, right? If you look at Indian economy, right, we typically our loan book size 18% of GDP, whereas in any other sort of matured country, it's almost like 90 or 100% GDP. So there is a tremendous gap that is being filled, right? So the organizations are seeing there is a tremendous need for scale, right? And everything sort of now trickles down to sort of the digital systems, right? So one end we are seeing that the customers are changing a lot, and they are becoming sort of more prone to digital. Their sort of patience of at least for the small ticket size loans are changing. I mean, they want it as soon as possible. For the organizations, how this is changing is the moment they are looking at sort of more new age kind of systems, and they create a digital property that they sort of a mobile app or a website, and they expose it to the end audience. Earlier, which was being done by the sales agents, right, and now that's being done in many cases directly by the customers, right? There is a change of control. And because of it, the organizations are realizing the very game is changing, right? Right now, the customer is in their minds comparing their apps with like the Amazons or the Flipkarts of the world. Although, I mean, in a regulated environment, maybe it's right or not right on their part to do that, but they're doing that, right? So the rules of the games are changing. The kind of expectations that they have from the kind of digital app, be it even from a financial services organizations, that is changing, right? So one of the biggest learning is what we are seeing from the market is that organizations are realizing that earlier they were trying to be first time right when they launch something to the market. They are realizing that now it's more about evolution rather than being first time right. They have to go to market as soon as possible with something which they think is the right proof of concept, right? And try to iterate it, right, and get the right market, because there is no right answer right now when you look at sort of digital first systems. So one of our large clients, they are actually looking at, just to give the context, I mean, we provide technology systems for them. We provide them loan origination systems, collection system, etc. And they are looking at bringing 2 million of their customers onto our platform, which in one end needs tremendous scale. I mean, if they had used some legacy sort of architectures, it would have creaked. I mean, the systems would have creaked, right? The other things is that when they launched into a new market, they realized that they have to keep on iterating, right? So they launched with us in 3 months, and then they iterated it for 5 months more. So that is one tremendous learning where we are seeing how, I mean, large NBFCs, really large organizations are acting like startups in many ways, right? So trying to sort of, get to the market as soon as possible and evolve, which was practice sort of being taken by fintechs more than large organizations.
Since you mentioned more to do with large and small NBFCs, our main concern is what technology works in south, doesn't work in north. It works in east, it doesn't work in west. Especially when it comes to some pockets of even the rural definitions are getting more closer, and it's getting changed based on the people education and even the behavioral patterns. So products still should get matured to go closer to them, or a common product will work across, or the past case studies you have where no, we have to still study every individual and start customizing to reach to the last level.
Suresh, you're very right, and still you're talking, I mean, you're talking about macroeconomic factors like north, south, east, west. We are seeing patterns where a technology might work for a person, not for his neighbor, right? I mean, and so yes, I mean, things are very much about personalization, right? The customer wants journeys, especially in a loan perspective, right, that are thought for him, right? So you are absolutely right. I mean, now again, as I was saying that, this whole problem brings down, I mean, so personalization is a problem that will eventually trickle down to what kind of technology solution that is being provided. One of the movements that we are seeing, and that of course we are following as a lending platform, is transition or sort of from a product perspective into a platform perspective, where NBFCs, banks can think of micro targeted journeys for different segments of customers, right? And then build it on sort of, very, very flexible sandbox or frameworks, rather than sort of, creating set products. And that what we're seeing is helping them a lot And the other thing is they can become very experimental. They think of a very micro target segment, try to create a journey for them, right? And then see if it works. If it does not, then they change it quickly.
So you should fail fast.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks. We will come back to you. So your side, but before getting into you, for him, let us be very clear. Banking is more to do with Rama Avatar and NBFC is more to do with Krishna Avatar. So we are specifying only to Krishna Avatar how it is leveraging. We are not comparing with the bank. But still, that Krishna Avatar has as much as potential to do exposures on that. How do you see we can leverage it and create a technology today and for future? And we know very well within even Krishna Avatar, you have very lower condoms contributing to the technology. How better we can do it so that for current and we can make it so that we'll have better Krishna at least.
Okay, we will totally focus on NBFC and MFIs. So if you see the complete technology stack, I'm talking about a complete technology stack, there are two things we start with. Customer experience, customer engagement. These are the two major parts. Apart from that, we talk about we should have a good credit decisioning, we should have a good analytics, we should have a good security system, and all those things. And most probably everything is available. But it is only available for 30% of the literate population. I will tell you why and how. We talk about customer engagement and experience, and I'm sure most of you are aware that in India we have 22 official languages and 782 dialects. And most commonly speaking language, if you see, there are 7 or 8. Having said that, there are people who can communicate in that particular language, but they cannot read and write. So we are looking for a technology which can be understood and used by the common people. Right. Now coming to our own use case, which we are struggling, especially in the MFI space. If you see, we all are doing now digital onboarding. Everybody talks about digital onboarding, and I think that it is very common now. In microfinance industry, what happens, the 3 primary documents which we collect is either Aadhaar or voter ID or ration card. Right? If you have Aadhaar, you can now scan the QR code and get the data in. At the same time, you are taking the photograph of all this documentation. Now I have scanned the one Aadhaar, taken photograph of something else. If you see the ration card in various states, they are at different formats in a different languages. Similarly, you can see the voter ID also. The OCR exists for a long time, maybe 20 years. So as on today, we have achieved 100% accuracy when it comes to passport, PAN and Aadhaar card, somewhat. But when it comes to other documents, we are nowhere there. We are in an era where everybody talks about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Lot of company XYZ.ai, XYZ.ml. And when you approach them and say, this is my use case, can you do that? The answer still is no. So I'm looking for a technology partner who has a capability to extract information from the local IDs. You click the photograph, entire information has come. What you are doing, your information is getting captured, plus your quality check process is getting reduced. Because on the same document you are collecting, and from the same document you are populating the data. So that is one point. Second point which I am looking for, enough of that data entry, no matter what. What we do, if we talk to a customer for 30 minutes, no matter what the language is, and that conversation should be captured in the system automatically. So what we are trying to do by that, not we are capturing the data, we are also able to do the sentiment analysis the way the customer speaks. So enough of all those things has happened, but the technology needs to reach there. The third thing which we talk about, mostly we talk about analytics for predictive and all those things, whether the customer will pay or not pay. It is looking to the customer behavior, transactional behavior only. In India, if you see, there are 3 or 4 factors which impacts the customer or general person.
So can we make it in the interest of time? So let us say your problem is more to do with infrastructure. We are not able to capture the customer information. That's where the problem is there. Anyway, we will put to the partners, whomsoever is there. We'll surely try to take, somebody has solution, surely we can connect back and do it out. As of now, you are saying connectivity, electricity and resource availability was a big concern in the rural parts of India. That's where you are not able to extract the information they want to take it up. Surely point well taken. From the customer point of view, is customer willing to give the data? Customer is having any issues?
The only problem is we collect the data what we need.
So you are taking the financial information only as of now. That's what it is. You are not having any social information about the customer.
That's where I say, if you make this journey as a communication for 30 minutes, free flow communication, where you are talking to the customer informally, and outcome is you are collecting not only the financial data which you need, other social
instead of filling a worksheet, you want them to have a worksheet, voice worksheet, where he will tell that a loan purpose and what are that business is going to do, and what are you want the supporting documents to be more on verbal and should be captured. Surely the feedback is given to the vendors, so let them come back. But we do have some vendors, they are having chatbots and other things, but surely it has to get matured. The expectation is rural India has a different expectation. That's what he's saying in other words, to do it. If internally you have any solutions on that, surely we can debate. Otherwise we can leave to the partners, let them come back to us on that. So one more concern. Like again, coming back to you to ensure if you see a new transformation like what are currently happening, how business is empowered to use IT from NBFC angle. Today what's happening is it's a culture set internally where we have a thin line between customer and service, like what are you trying to do. Why I'm mentioning again customer service. Customer information for compliance we are able to get. All the NBFCs are able to get that for compliance information. When it comes to service, that's where we are struggling a lot, where even customer didn't tend to give information. How to create that social auto technology available today, which will empower us, at least not today, future we will have some information which will give the social status of the customer. So in one line, if you want to say, we give the credit rating based on the banking positive record only. If it's a check bounce, he is not eligible. Otherwise, all are fully proper credit debits, he is eligible. That's what today we are taking a stand. Can we have some social support which will also enable rural customers or people who are from the remote locations can get that information, is still qualify for a credit, then what are the other digital data which is available, not captured today?
Okay. We are in an era where there are artificial intelligence and machine learning are to the core.
Underline again, we have cooked the data. It is all told by your executives only. Actual customer doesn't speak.
Exactly. So, I mean, once again, it's a behavioral read what the customer is giving. I mean, whatever the field officers go to the field and whatever he collects, we are treating that as the actual data and doing it. And most of the time it's cooked up. We know the truth technically. So the thing is there are data which are available. For instance, I mean, if for instance, if we are taking the Aadhaar card, the recent study which was going on the white label is based on the Aadhaar, I can read a person's actual status, complete status, how much mobile phone he is using, how many calls he is doing for a day, what is the gas purchase rate, what is the electricity bill. So everything is linked with Aadhaar.
But great, but we didn't give finance based on Aadhaar. Aadhaar is only for identity. We have enough customers giving Aadhaar applied only.
Exactly.
Okay, Aadhaar applied, still he says I am applied, give me the finance.
Exactly.
So it's more to do with an entity. Like I'm saying, like any other source, so that it gives a technology empowerment so that people can rely on those information for financial decisions.
No, going forward, I mean, everywhere the Aadhaar is going to be linked. I mean, eventually it should be happening. So if that is happening, the each and every data, wherever I'm using my credit card or debit card, I mean, leaving the other side of it, wherever the consumers who are using a digitalized way from whom he is getting the money or the
So you
transaction.
can get engaged, go closer to them
engaged.
also.
Yeah, the reverse way should work out.
Okay,
So
okay,
that-
thanks. Sir. Coming back to you, like for you again, I'm mentioning here to say we get those customers all rejected by banks. Assume like he didn't get bank finance, that's why he's coming.
Answer for you, maybe, yeah.
No, but that's what Geo itself is not reached all the rural parts. That's what it's again a complaint. Sir, for coming to you to state, like again, since we mentioned the banking customer and customer behaviors, which we are trying to do it, still you believe, like from the banking side or NBFC side, what are we try to do them is more to support their businesses, everything else. So are we getting real information through technology so that that support, the decision maker in the last mile gets that technical support which is required on time? So you see, so from Cholamandalam investments, you know very well when you take decisions from the customer point of view, it requires you do an SME like now water data, it takes some time to reach to us. That reach and speed is going to decide. So if that is the case, how technology is empowered, especially in our areas, so that we can take a decision, guts based with supported with the data, which enables us to take decision faster.
So I think especially in the SME space, what we are seeing is, the amount of, quantified data in terms of,
And because the regulator is coming out with every new day one with some new tagline of saying this is the information required, this information to be scrutinized, this information requires more supporting. Are we prepared, and technology is also getting matured on those areas to come back?
So what we are trying to do is move away, obviously the standard pieces of, the financial statement, bank statement and all, GST filings, wherever possible we take it up. But we also are trying to build more of data-driven field visits with our SME customers. So we may be funding a Pani Puri wala, who may not be in the traditional banking system, but can we have our field guy go and see as he does in his workplace? And that data is video fed back to our underwriting teams, who can then say, is that a good enough information for me to go ahead and underwrite that? In fact, on the slightly tangential part, there is a colleague or ex-colleague of mine who is starting a closed group funding. So if there are 100 people working in an organization, they know based on their peer relation, is this person creditworthy or not? And if somebody needs, say, 100,000 or 200,000, which is going to be more expensive for him to get from a bank, can this closed group lending help him get at a better rate, while the closed group themselves get at a better rate than a FD in the bank? So there you start using non-traditional information to...
This Pani Puri wala example is right in Tamil Nadu?
It is in Bangalore. Yeah.
Okay, because in Tamil Nadu you should know Tamil more, where Pani Puri wala speaks Hindi only. So they still say we are not getting the right people getting the loans on time. Sir. See, this Bhaji wala get it, and like Pani Puri wala won't get it here. So that's what the other side. So still you are saying it's more to do with occupation, still people take it up and we are able to support them. Yes, sir. For you, as again coming back to the precise case studies, again if you say the product which went long, means success people use for a long, or the customized product used for a long, which you see from NBFC point of view to say, because I have not seen a product without customization deployed in NBFCs, where I have seen people stuck because of the customization is too high and they couldn't even go back. And that domain legacy, whatever I found from the current technologies, people from especially NBFC stuck a lot.
Right. So you're right, Shan, Suresh. That ways, organizations are, so there are two ends of the spectrum, right? By the end of the day, if you have to move fast, you want to move towards standardization. But every organization has its own touch to, how they want to do, and sort of, and there'll be in certain cases, huge layer of customization that happen. And the more you customize, the more you realize you are, from a tech perspective, creating patches and patches of code, which over a period of time becomes difficult to support, right? So yes, and that's a big challenge, right? How we as an organization have found a solution to it is we have completely built or moved to a low-code technology platform. That means that the entire kind of stack, right from the UI layer to the database, you can actually make that without writing a single line of code. So essentially, in organizations where we are, of course, integrating with various internal systems, and that sort of requires some line of coding, But apart from that, right from the UI to the database, and the entire journey can be created without writing a single line of code. In fact, Kuliza's Lend.in is that way globally one of the very few low-code systems that sort of enables that. So that's our interpretation and our solution to the technology, right? But we believe that, agility is, of course, a process problem, but is also a technology problem, right? And after a period of time, when processes become efficient, the focus needs to now go on the technology system that were they created to be agile, right? When the initial architectures were being created, what they thought that, how will they change? Because change is becoming really, really important for organizations today.
So you're saying again, this more to do with the adoption and how people see things and trying to align to get it done. Yeah, thanks. So again, for you, since you mentioned, can we make it less than 2 minutes? Where
sure.
Expected question is what more to do with, is any gender and age factor is playing something for us, the way we are operating in NBFC, like take 0 to 30, 30 to 40, 45, 45 above. Again, if you categorize as age as a factor, currently we are going through any trauma of age or gender, or it will get replaced even though irrespective of the technology, if the age factor changes. Like if you see people from 0 to 30, they know technology but they don't have money. People from again 30 to 45 generally does with NBFC because people come out with more money related, but again they don't know technology. Again 45 to 60 based on the retirement and other things, people know the business but they don't know technology. 3 set of people, but still we handle part of technology. In anything technology should get matured, or we have to change the gender and other age factors also part of it.
See, if you see the kids till 25, we all are Indian kids, we know we are never been bothered about our career till such time. So they use technology in a different way for their purpose. The real challenge comes, and the real users are aged between 30 to 50 who are running their families and supporting others. So it is not all about they don't want to use technology. It is all about they don't have the confidence. It is all about they don't understand what we try to give it to them. So it is more on making them educated, making them believe, giving them confidence to start using whatever is available.
It's more to do with finance literacy or technology literacy?
It is more on finance literacy, and second thing, making them believe if you are touching and doing a transaction, it is going to the right person.
Great. So at least we are able to complete with whatever questions we debated internally. If any questions from the audience, we'll open it up so that at least I'll stick to the timing. Before 5 minutes, I'm closing that. Any questions from the audience? As usual, so that's why NBFC has questions only from the regulator side. We all agree to accept and whatever things comes on our way. Thanks for your valuable time, and we ended before 6 minutes on that.